This clip is brought to you by 8 Sleep Mattresses, the temperature-controlled Tesla of beds that automates your sleep. Sleep better and enjoy this clip.
When you were in Los Angeles, did you get caught up in the system, do you feel like, at all?
I almost did. I felt like I got a bit over-sexualized because I think the whole world is over-sexualized, actually. I was married to Steph, and I remember a part of our relationship, I thought like, oh, I would be down to have an open relationship. I'd be down to bring women into this relationship. And I thought like I'd be okay with that. And then as I became, and you know, and we actually like tried it like once or twice. And I remember just, again, listening to my feelings. I remember eating afterwards. I'm like, oh, this isn't it. You know, and I really sat with that as well. And then I just became aware of like what a divine union is and what that is all about, and like how special that can be, and like building that type of connection. And I realized like a lot of times what I was looking for through these other sexual adventures was a high. It wasn't actually a connection. And a lot of it had to do with ego. Right. And so once I kind of realized like, oh, that's not even a connection, it became very easy for me to no longer want that in my relationships at all, and would never even think about it. But I did have a part in my life where I thought I wanted those things, and I did explore those things, and I came out on the other side like, oh, hell no. This isn't part of the divine. And I think as you become more divine, as you become more love, and you and your partner are both elevating on that cosmic level, it's not even interesting. There's like regular sex with some person to come into your union, no fucking way. It just wouldn't even, you couldn't give someone to me. I'd be like, no, you can't. This is a sacred space. And for me, for even you to be in here, I would have to like cosmically become like, you know, intimate with you in all these different ways. And that takes all this time and all this love. And you have to be raising your vibration at that same time for you to, and why would I do that when I'd be doing that with my partner? Yeah. So, I think, yeah, in LA for a little bit.
Was that during the time when you would post a lot of those drawings?
Yes.
Okay.
Not the drawings. Actually, that was another DMT trip. This is really far out. So I was.
The drawings were sick, by the way.
I still love the drawings.
Man?
Are they still up there?
Yeah, Alpha Changling, I think it's called, or something like that. But this was actually a DMT trip. So I was over-sexualized, and I was big on like always like, and it didn't come from a bad place. It really came from a very loving, innocent place. My woman was hot. I loved promoting it, but not. And I remember getting emails from people like, "You guys swingers?" And I'm like, "No." And I used to be almost offended by it. I didn't know I was giving out that type of information. I didn't know I was giving off that vibe. And so I smoked DMT one time, right? And it was one of my most profound trips. It was one of my most profound trips. It's when I became no longer like into that type of shit. And the image was Betty Boop. Black and white Betty Boop on DMT. Betty Boop walking through, and she represented Steph. And I'm like, okay. And she's super sexy. And I'm like, all right, yeah. And then she turns to me, and Betty Boop, who represented Steph, goes, "Why don't you keep some of this for yourself?" Was the message when I was on DMT. And I was like, ooh, and I felt it. I felt it like on such a level. I was like, ooh. And I even felt like shame and guilt. And Betty Boop goes, no, you didn't know, but maybe just keep some of this for yourself. And it was wild. So at that very moment, for whatever reason, I was on DMT, but I opened my eyes, and you usually don't open your eyes on DMT. And Steph was actually sitting on the corner of my bed, because she was actually there? She was there. Okay. Yeah, she was actually there. But and she was like this fucking golden shrine, like as bright as the sun, just radiating. And it was like the most beautiful experience of understanding like relationships and divine union, and keeping this stuff sacred, and taking it seriously. And that was the big shift for me when that DMT trip. It was wild. It was crazy that Betty Boop was like, "Yo, keep some of this shit for you, bro."
How many times have you done DMT?
In the beginning, I mean, I probably could give you a handful. I would say maybe like 25 times, probably.
Woo!
But I haven't done really psychedelics in a long time. It's I think I did them more in the beginning because they were my only way to like meditate. I didn't know how to do breath work. I didn't know how to do the other stuff. I didn't know anything about the cold plunge. I did cold plunge, but it was all for physical therapy shit, and I was just getting in and getting out type of stuff. So DMT was the way I was kind of meditating and going into that quantum field. So But once I learned breathwork, I haven't smoked DMT actually since I've done breathwork. So, and I find myself very, very rarely even doing mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like, and if I do them, it's a microdose for me to like, go to Barton Springs and like lay out in the sun and just be a little bit more zen. But yeah, outside of that, I really don't mess around with psychedelics too much anymore. Oh my God, bro.
Shit.
So good.
Hey now.
Now it looks like an asshole.
It is an asshole. So I love the humor of all this stuff. I would
They were always
and
really
the thing is, I still have this humor. It's just that now I became more mindful of like what it puts out there. That's what I mean. It's like just becoming more mindful, more self-aware. So just shit like this, like I probably wouldn't post anymore just in case like young men were watching and they don't know any better. So I had to just take more responsibility for myself and
Dropping the hammer.
Yeah, I used to put shit like that all the time, and I thought was like expressing my sexuality in a health way, but I was definitely putting off a vibe, and I was definitely over sexualized just by the culture itself. Oh, that's a nice one. That one I still would post actually. That's a cute one.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
I actually went through. I remember when I had that trip. I went down and I deleted so many pictures of stuff that I had up, and I remember reading them, even reading the context of like the post, and I was like, I can't believe I fucking put this shit up. I am crazy.
Now I remember. Yeah. I remember seeing your profile. It was years ago.
Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah. Because like up until this point, I'm like, oh, you're totally. I don't.
Yeah, you probably wanted to hit me up to have a swing fest. Like that stuff is still great. I like the cartoons. I mean, I wouldn't post it or share it anymore. But like but like there was definitely a really cool shit.
Celebrating.
Yeah, like I would have that like in my house or something in like the bathroom. Good. Like have that be bathroom art.
Make that an NFT.
Yeah. But mostly like I realized like what I put out there does have an effect on people, and I don't want to be contributing to like some of this stuff, and so I had to just become more self-aware in how I operate.
So Power Project family, I hope you enjoyed this clip. We are on Discord and Reddit. We're trying to talk to you guys and build a community down there. So the links are in the bio. But remember, like, comment, subscribe, share this out with people so you can share the wealth of health. As cheesy as that fucking sounds. Peace.